Hello, and welcome to the USF College of the Arts. We are happy and honored that you have joined us for today's live-streamed concert.
While a good deal of music making around the world has been forced to stop, we're grateful for the innovative leadership and resources that have allowed us to continue making live music.
At the USF School of Music, we take our music making seriously,
and we are committed to protocols that keep our students, faculty, and staff as safe as possible.
This performance is presented in accordance with all federal, state, local, and USF health guidelines regarding the coronavirus COVID-19. No audience members are in attendance.
Our rehearsals have been limited to 30 minutes at a time, after which we leave the room to allow the air to be cleaned.
You may hear our air filtration units in the background, but that's a small price to pay for the privilege of performing during this unprecedented time.
So now,
from the comfort and safety
of your own home,
we invite you to sit back,
relax,
and enjoy the performance.
Hi, friends. It is great to have you with us this evening as we get together to celebrate jazz, and specifically jazz on the radio. Welcome to the USF Virtual Jazz Concert Series presented by the USF School of Music and the Tampa Jazz Club, and tonight honoring WUSF 89.7's All Night Jazz. I'm Bob Seymour. I had the great good fortune to be jazz director of WUSF for a long time. I'm president of the Tampa Jazz Club and bring greetings from our board of directors, a few of whom you'll see tonight. Present jazz director, my buddy Mike Coronet, will be along shortly. And a couple of our performers tonight are on the board too, Jack Wilkins and Dominic Walker. For well over 20 years, the USF's Monday Night Jazz Series has been bringing great concerts to Tampa. Some of the very best jazz players have come in for clinics and concerts, really kind of a mini residency at USF. In recent years, they've included John Clayton, Peter Bernstein, and Terrell Stafford. You've seen some photographs tonight, some of the great shots by Steve Splain of recent seasons of Monday Night Jazz. Looking back a little further, I recall concerts by Eric Alexander, Nat Adderley, Joe Henderson, my original jazz idol, J.J. Johnson, and also Sam Rivers, who after his New York years, Sam and his wife Beatrice settled in Orlando. He did a remarkable Monday Night Jazz concert, and we'll hear Sam's beautiful song called Beatrice tonight on the program. In recent years, Monday Night Jazz has been jointly produced by USF School of Music and the Tampa Jazz Club. And for the time being, it's evolved into this USF virtual and not necessarily on Monday concert series. Things being what they are we are working without the benefit of revenue from ticket sales, but we're able to keep it together, including continuing to offer Tampa Jazz Club scholarships to outstanding Bay Area students, thanks to people like you, many of whom become members of the Tampa Jazz Club or make extra gifts of support. And when you join up, we can keep in touch with you better too. Go to tampajazzclub.com and check that out. And be sure to keep up with the virtual concerts by the many student ensembles and faculty and guest artists here at this website with the terrific School of Music at USF performances here on this YouTube channel. There's always been a close connection between WUSF and the School of Music. The radio station has been an official sponsor of Monday Night Jazz, as one example, recognized in the printed programs right from the start. Well, that opening piece we heard tonight was John Coltrane's Mr. Day. It was the opening theme for years, one that I inherited and really loved when I began at WUSF, which was 40 years ago this month. And I've been before that an avid listener to the station and to announcers like Mike Cornett and Steve Splain. They both went off to great careers, Mike in the record business, Steve as a broadcast news producer in radio and TV. It's great that they're back bringing us the music, along with longtime Bay Area jazz voice Alicia Kay on Sundays, and the three guys that we're hearing tonight. This concert is kind of an all-night jazz show featuring a few of the hosts you've come to know in the late night hours, who are some of our town's really good musicians too. The guitarist Dominic Walker, trumpeter Jackson Harp, and pianist Simon Lasky. I should say pianist and composer arranger, as it's been exciting to see Simon's progress as a writer, and we'll hear one of his originals tonight too. Along with them, musicians from the School of Music, bassist Noel Reyes, drummer Dave Rudolph, trombonist Tom Brantley, and the saxophonist, longtime director of jazz studies at USF, Jack Wilkins. One other thing, in the 60s, Vic Hall, a transplant from the UK, a serious jazz fan, called in to the station one night when he heard jazz on. I'm talking about the pretty early days of WUSF. Vic ended up being a volunteer host of a weekly jazz program, The Sound of Jazz, from 1968 until 2005. And in those 37 or 38 years, made a big impact on the jazz scene and jazz audience in the Bay Area. Tonight, we'll hear his theme song, Far West by Wes Montgomery. Before that, though, here is one of the midnight standards we enjoy on All Night Jazz, Duke Ellington and Juan Tizol's Caravan. Thanks again for joining us. I know you'll enjoy the music.
Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for listening. That, of course, was the theme song for the Vic Hall Sound of Jazz show on WUSF. If you remember that, that was Far West by Wes Montgomery. Vic Hall, he was one of the original supporters of jazz in the Tampa Bay area. And we at the Tampa Jazz Club, we actually offer a yearly Vic Hall scholarship to one or two high school students who are graduating. They're about to go to college to study music. So that's something we do every year for Vic Hall. All right, up next, a beautiful, beautiful song I love, written by someone who lived in Orlando for the last 20 years of his life. That is Sam Rivers. He had a lovely wife named Beatrice. So that's what we're going to play for you now. This is Beatrice. And after that, a duet with Simon Lasky and Jack Wilkins.
Sure hope you're enjoying the show so far. I'm Mike Cornack, Jazz Director for WUSF 89.7's All Night Jazz, and I'm also the Vice President of the Tampa Jazz Club. And you know, we're really pleased to bring you this concert. And on behalf of all of us at WUSF Public Media, Tampa Jazz Club, and the USF School of Music, we want to thank you for your support. We couldn't do any of this without you. Now, you can always make a donation at any of our various entities involved in this program at WUSFjazz.org, at tampajazzclub.com, or at the USF School of Music at music.arts.usf.edu. Now, if you're a regular listener to All Night Jazz, you know we've got several themes that are an ongoing part of our presentation. We've got our Focus Artist of the Week, where we highlight a specific artist each hour all week long. We've got our rousing bird break every morning at 4 a.m. where we play some music from Charlie Parker to either put you to sleep or wake you up, depending on what side of the pillow you're on at that point in time. We've also got our Jazz Trip at 10. We're going to talk about that in a little bit later, but we wanted to mention our Midnight Standard, where every night of the week we play a different Midnight Standard, and each week we play a different version of that standard. So, for example, on Friday nights, we always play a version of Thelonious Monk's classic Round Midnight. On Wednesday nights, we always play a version of the Duke Ellington Juan T's old classic Caravan, which you heard earlier on this program. Now, on this month for All Night Jazz, it's National Women's History Month, so it's Women in Jazz Month on All Night Jazz. And later, the band's going to treat you to a song composed by the legendary Mary Lou Williams. She was a pioneer, one of the earliest female musicians in jazz at a time when it was just not the norm. She began her career in Kansas City in the 1930s when the town was just a hotbed for jazz. You see, Prohibition never happened in Kansas City. The clubs were open all the time, all the way through. And Mary Lou was there along with people like Count Basie, Lester Young, Charlie Parker, and many more. It was the jazz capital of the world for a while. Most notably, Mary Lou worked with Andy Kirk and his Clouds of Joy. And while she was in that group, she composed many of their charts. She played piano, and she was a featured soloist. She later moved to New York, where her apartment became a gathering place for the burgeoning jazz and bebop scene there. Dizzy Gillespie hanging out, Thelonious Monk, all those cats. Meanwhile, she ended up as an artist in residence at Duke University, and along the way, she broke many barriers and many ceilings. And a little later, we'll hear one of her compositions called Walking, which was a big hit for Nat King Cole. Let's get back to our Tampa Jazz Club celebration of WUSF 89.7's All Night Jazz. And you know, one of my favorite things on All Night Jazz is the Jazz Trip at 10. It's our little nightly adventure at 10 o'clock where we put together a themed set about a person or a place or a thing, and we take you on a little journey. And tonight we're going to go across the pond, as they say, and we'll visit London. And it just so happens that one of our musicians tonight is also an all-night jazz host, and he happens to live in London. So let's hear Simon Lasky here on piano for A Foggy Day in London Town on WUSF's celebration here from the Tampa Jazz Club, All Night Jazz.
Thank you so much. That was Foggy Day, and well-versed listeners might know that the full title is Foggy Day in London Town. I'm from London Town, and yes, I'm the one member of your all-night jazz team who doesn't sound like he's from around here. It's because I'm not. I moved here 2 years ago on a fellowship to study composition, jazz composition with Chuck Owen at the University of South Florida on the wonderful jazz program there. And up next, we're going to hear one of my compositions. It's called Steps. It's one of the pieces I wrote for the jazz program here at USF as part of my final recital. And it's inspired by Steps Ahead. Regular listeners might remember Mike Brecker, Mike Manieri, Eliana Elias originally. And so it's kind of got some of that 80s sound to it, but also the Crusaders. And so I'm going to feature Tom Brantley on trombone and Jack Wilkins on tenor for that kind of authentic Crusaders sound. So you can tell I really like American music. That's why I moved here. Then after that, we're going to have Round Midnight, Jackson Harp on trumpet, another of your wonderful all-night jazz hosts. We hope you enjoy it. Thank you for listening.
What a band, am I right? So like Simon and Dominic, I moved here in 2013 to pursue a master's degree at the University of South Florida in the School of Music. Since graduating in 2015, I've been very fortunate not only to play music in the Tampa Bay area, but also to work here at WUSF as an all-night jazz host. One of the tunes we play regularly is Miles Davis's All Blues, and we are going to play that for you now as our final. Thank you so much for watching. You've been a great audience, I assume, since I can't actually see you, but thank you for watching and enjoy.
We go out with all blues. There's a tune I suspect you've heard a few times, played by Miles on WUSF. And that's our show. Thanks to these great musicians who've made the music for us tonight. And now you can put a face to those familiar voices in the late night hours on the radio. Thank you for being here and for your support of jazz in Tampa Bay, including WUSF's All Night Jazz, the USF School of Music, the Tampa Jazz Club, and our collaborative venture, these online concerts, the Not So Much Monday, but any night virtual jazz concert series. You are the reason that all of these things happen. Next for us on this series, coming up on April 6th, guest faculty artist teaching composition this semester, also a fine saxophonist and Grammy nominee Remy LeBouf will be performing with the USF Jazz Ensemble 1. And looking down the road in the fall, we will be bringing you a concert that we had to cancel just a year ago when things first began to shut down. USF's own Chuck Owen performing with his 25th anniversary concert with his great Jazz Surge Orchestra. I'm Bob Seymour. Keep swinging. Thanks again.